Hey there, and welcome back to the Deep Dive.
Great to be here.
Today we're taking a closer look at something that's really quietly but, profoundly reshaping our daily grind. That's the impact of new technologies on our workplaces, the culture there, and, crucially, our own personal well-being.
It's huge.
You've given us some really fascinating articles and research, and our mission, like always, is to cut through that noise.
Yep. Find the core insights.
Exactly. Unearth those essential nuggets, give you a shortcut to being, well, properly informed. We're talking about how our digital tools, they're changing where, when, even how we connect, or maybe disconnect from work.
It's a truly seismic shift, isn't it? I mean, the acceleration we've seen towards remote and hybrid work.
Powered by tech, mostly.
Right, powered largely by these advancements. It's brought immense flexibility, absolutely. And often, greater efficiency.
But there's a catch.
But beneath the surface, well, there are significant cultural and personal ramifications that we really need to pay attention to. So we're going to explore 3 key areas today where tech is fundamentally altering, the DNA of our workplaces.
Giving both sides.
Yeah, offering a balanced view. Both the challenges, which are real, and also some of the innovative, sometimes quite surprising solutions that organizations are starting to try out.
Okay, let's unpack that first big one then. This rise of the always-on culture.
Yes.
It's not just about having a laptop anymore, is it? It's the expectation. Emails, instant messages, project updates.
Urgent queries at 9 p.m.
Exactly. It's all just as accessible from your sofa as it is from the office. And if your work phone is your personal phone,
those lines just vanish.
they completely blur. So beyond the convenience, what does this constant accessibility actually mean for how we live and work?
Well, what's really interesting, I think, is that the initial promise was flexibility, right?
Yeah.
More control.
Right, from anywhere.
But the reality for so many people has become this unspoken expectation. Constant availability.
Like you're always on call.
Precisely. Employees feel perpetually on call, like they need to respond even well outside official hours. And that makes it incredibly hard to properly disconnect.
Mentally switch off.
Exactly. Researchers talk about cognitive load, this persistent mental weight that just doesn't lift. It erodes those essential boundaries between your professional life and your personal life.
And that leads to?
Well, it pushes us towards chronic stress, definitely heightened pressure, and, long-term burnout.
We hear that word a lot, burnout.
And when we talk about work-life balance, it's not about a perfect 50-50 time split. It's about feeling fulfilled, content in both areas. This always-on thing actively undermines that balance.
And it's not just personal stress, is it? It messes with teams, too.
Oh, absolutely.
Imagine, some colleagues are always responding, nights, weekends.
Yeah.
While others try to keep boundaries.
Creates tension.
Yeah, real tension. Maybe an uneven playing field. It feels more competitive than collaborative, maybe.
That's a great point. It sets a new, often totally unsustainable standard for availability. It really shifts expectations. It can create this sort of invisible pressure.
Digital presenteeism.
Exactly, digital presenteeism. Feeling like you need to look busy and available online just to prove you're committed, even if it's not productive time.
So people are noticing this. What are some attempts to tackle it? You mentioned France, for example.
Yes, that's a key example. France introduced a right to disconnect law back in 2017. The aim was to empower employees legally to ignore work communications outside working hours without facing penalties.
A legal shield, almost. And some companies are doing things internally, too. I remember reading about Volkswagen.
That's right. Volkswagen reportedly configured their servers quite early on. Emails could only hit employee phones from half an hour before to half an hour after work hours.
And not at all outside that window.
Not at all outside that, which was, a pretty bold move, a hard-coded boundary.
Seems like a neat solution. Did it work?
Well, it highlights the range of approaches. But here's where it gets nuanced, based on the research. These top-down fixes aren't always simple.
Okay.
Research from the University of Sussex Business School in the UK found something interesting. Banning after-hours email access did help some people switch off, yes.
Nope.
But paradoxically, it actually caused more stress for others.
Wait, more stress from less work email. How does that work?
It's surprising, isn't it? It raises this key question. Why the mixed results?
Yeah.
For some, the ban felt like losing autonomy. They actually preferred the flexibility to clear their inbox later, maybe, after the kids were asleep, on their own terms.
Or rather than feeling pressure during the day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And for others, maybe people in client-facing roles or working across time zones, a total ban could actually stop them hitting their goals. which naturally causes anxiety about falling behind.
Ah, I see. So it's not one size fits all.
Not at all. It really shows the complexity. What works for one person or one team might feel really restrictive, even counterproductive for another. Finding that individual sweet spot is tough when you're setting company policy.
So if laws and server shutdowns aren't the whole answer,
Yeah.
what else are companies trying? Maybe more sort of soft solutions.
Yeah, many forward-thinking places are shifting their focus. It's less about just restricting access and more about actively promoting things like asynchronous communication,
Meaning?
meaning it doesn't require an immediate response, and developing digital etiquette guidelines, like teams defining their own norms for availability.
Setting expectations together.
Exactly. Or designating specific focus hours where interruptions are minimized. Training managers to actually model healthy boundary setting themselves. It's huge.
Leading by example.
Right.
Yeah.
Moving from a culture of constant, instant response to one of more deliberate, respectful engagement, where the real value is on deep work, thoughtful communication, not just reacting immediately.
Cultivating a culture where switching off is okay. Encouraged even.
Genuinely encouraged and supported. That's the goal.
Okay, moving on. Here's where it gets really interesting for me and maybe a bit controversial for some listeners. Employee monitoring.
Yeah. With remote and flexible work booming, there's also been this, demand for digital tools so organizations can monitor what employees are doing.
It's definitely increased.
What exactly are these tools, and what are the intentions, really, beyond just checking if someone's at their virtual desk?
It's often presented as having a dual purpose, and sometimes these purposes conflict a bit.
Okay.
On one hand, yeah, they serve operational needs, tracking attendance, workload, performance metrics, productivity,
Make them sure work gets done.
and maybe deterring rule-breaking like, hours of online shopping on company time or preventing data leaks.
But there's another side.
There can be, and this bit often gets missed. They can also be used genuinely to support employees.
How?
For instance, by collecting aggregated, anonymized data on active hours. Not to punish, but to spot patterns of overwork across teams.
So identifying potential burnout risks.
Exactly. Or flagging if one team is consistently overloaded compared to others, using data to ensure people are taking enough time away from screens.
Okay. So what kind of monitoring are we actually talking about here? The sources mentioned quite a range.
It's a wide spectrum, definitely. Everything from recording keystrokes and mouse movements.
Just raw activity input.
Yeah. To taking periodic screenshots of someone's desktop, giving a visual snapshot of what they're working on.
Let's take any more detail.
Then there are tools that record calls, meetings, even access webcams, potentially.
Wow.
And now, like you said, AI is getting involved, analyzing messages, chats, email.
Not just keywords.
No, using natural language processing to monitor sentiment, detect patterns that might suggest harassment, check for compliance issues, flag other potentially inappropriate actions. It's comprehensive.
That sounds incredibly powerful, but, the privacy red flags are waving furiously, right? Trust. It's the absolute critical challenge here. While these tools offer benefits for management and maybe, possibly, for well-being if used right, huge if, using tech this way can easily make employees feel like they're under constant surveillance, that their privacy is gone, that they aren't trusted.
End result.
Significant stress. It profoundly damages trust. It stifles open communication, all things that are just poison to a healthy company culture.
So how do companies walk this tightrope? Balancing operational needs, legal rules like GDPR,
Data protection, yeah.
and the ethical side, respecting people.
Transparency is non-negotiable. It's absolutely crucial. Organizations must clearly and repeatedly communicate why any monitoring is happening.
What's the reason?
Exactly. And what data is being collected, how it's stored and processed, and critically, who gets to see it.
And what it's used for.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Without that clarity and a genuine, justifiable rationale, you risk destroying the very trust you need, especially for flexible work, and you'll lose good people.
And there are real consequences for getting it wrong.
Yeah.
You mentioned Amazon.
Yeah, one of the articles highlighted that. Amazon got hit with a $32 million fine by French regulators.
For what is exactly?
For what the regulators deemed an excessive, intrusive system for monitoring employee activity and performance, particularly in their warehouses.
So it wasn't just that they monitored, but how?
Exactly. It wasn't just a slap on the wrist. It's a stark reminder that this digital eye has limits. There are legal lines, ethical lines that get crossed when tools are rolled out without enough thought for the human impact.
Efficiency gains versus everything else.
Right. Reputation, legal cost, morale. The fine wasn't just about monitoring existing. It was the intensity, the lack of proportionality, how the data was used to manage individuals. It pushed way beyond reasonable and necessary.
So the lesson is, be careful, be transparent.
Be thoughtful, legally compliant, ethically sound, and communicate openly. That's the only sustainable path.
Okay, final section. Let's dive into something maybe more intuitive for many of us. The impact of just less face-to-face time.
The connection challenge.
Yeah. With all these digital tools, flexible schedules, we're just having fewer of those in-person moments. What does that actually do to building connections at work?
It really hits the ability to create those spontaneous personal bonds, the kind that build team spirit and trust.
Like the coffee machine chat?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or the quick question over the desk partition. When you lose those informal interactions, you lose the subtle ways social capital gets built.
And people feel.
It can definitely foster feelings of isolation, weaken inclusion, make teamwork feel harder within the culture, but it goes deeper too.
Yeah.
Think about digital communication itself. Online chats, video calls with cameras off, they often lack crucial nonverbal cues.
Body language, facial expression.
Tone of voice, even posture, all those things convey so much nuance, empathy. When they're absent, misunderstandings happen more easily, misinterpretations, minor issues can escalate into conflicts.
Because you can't read the room.
You really can't. It negatively impacts collaboration. Those subtle cues are just vital for effective human interaction.
I've definitely felt that. A quick chat fixes what 10 confusing emails can't. So what are companies doing? What are the creative ways they're trying to bridge this distance, rebuild those connections digitally?
It really requires deliberate effort, intentionality.
Can't just happen by accident.
No. The sources highlighted some cool approaches. Beyond just saying turn your cameras on, many are encouraging non-work online chats.
Virtual water coolers?
Pretty much. Dedicated channels on Slack or Teams for hobbies, pets, weekend stuff, trying to replicate that informal space. And there's a big push for engaging online team building, too.
Like virtual escape rooms.
Yeah, or online cooking classes, quizzes, things like that.
You shared a specific example, Hotjar. They seem quite focused on this.
They're a fantastic case study in remote connection. Hotjar encourages new hires to have one-on-one video calls with as many people as possible across different teams in their first week.
Just to connect, not about work.
Purely about getting to know colleagues as people, building that initial rapport.
And they have that donut call thing?
Yes, the donut call. It's basically a system that randomly pairs up two people from anywhere in the company for a 30-minute video chat with a strict no work talk rule.
Trying to replicate those random hallway bumps.
Exactly, fostering those serendipitous connections, breaking down silos between departments, creating a more cohesive feel despite the distance. It's a brilliant, intentional strategy.
That's a great proactive example. But on the flip side, some bosses still argue you need face-to-face time for real collaboration. Is that just old-fashioned thinking now?
You know, it's a valid point, actually, and not necessarily outdated for every situation.
Really?
Yeah. While digital tools are amazing, some types of collaboration, think complex brainstorming, really creative sessions, intense problem solving, they can genuinely benefit from the richness of being in the same room.
The energy is different.
It can be. The nuance of nonverbals, the speed you can bounce ideas around, that shared physical space. It can be hard to replicate fully online.
So maybe hybrid is the answer for some.
It might mean requiring certain key meetings in person, team retreats maybe, or even for specific teams, a minimum number of office days per week or month. There isn't one single answer that fits every company or every role.
Depends on the work.
Exactly. The key is understanding what kind of work truly benefits most from face-to-face, and then designing the work setup, hybrid, remote, whatever, to optimize for those specific needs. It really has to be tailored.
Okay, so wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you, the listener, trying to navigate this changing work world?
We've covered a lot.
We have the always-on culture, that double-edged sword, the watchful eye of monitoring it with all its complexities, and this vital but challenging need for human connection.
And I think while the tech offers so many benefits, so much potential, the real key to managing the downsides for culture, for well-being, it comes down to being intentional.
How so?
As you think about these insights, remember the core things. Actively setting clear boundaries for yourself. that work-life balance, protecting your mental space, advocating for transparency where you work, how are tools being used,
And connecting.
proactively fostering those human connections, even if it takes more effort now, and always keeping well-being as a foundation, not just a perk or an afterthought.
It's clear the future isn't just about the technology, is it? It's about how we manage ourselves, our teams, our relationship with the technology.
Thoughtfully and strategically, as individuals and as organizations.
So maybe, for you listening, the next step isn't just thinking about your personal relationship with tech, but maybe joining the conversation in your own workplace.
Yeah.
How could your team or your company better measure and foster genuine well-being, real connection, beyond just hitting the productivity targets? How do we truly thrive in this new landscape?
That's the critical question to keep asking.